All right. So, um, from what I've been reading in these articles and research you sent over, it seems like there's been a pretty major court decision in Haryana.
Yeah,
That's shaking up India's real estate world quite a bit.
it is.
And it seems like it really directly impacts how we all should be thinking about land rights and property development.
Absolutely.
So we're going to dive into this verdict and all its ripple effects right now.
Great.
So, to start off, could you give us a little bit of the background on this case?
Yeah, so essentially you have landowners in Haryana
Okay.
who contested the compensation that was being offered to them by the government
Mhm.
for land that was acquired to, build key infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
like highways and stuff.
I see. So like NHAI and those sorts of organizations.
Exactly. Yeah, most likely NHAI.
Okay.
And they took this all the way to the Haryana High Court,
Okay.
and the court actually sided with the landowners.
Interesting.
They found that the compensation being offered was unfair, and they stated that the landowners either deserve proper compensation or their land rights need to be fully respected.
So this feels like it really strengthens the rights of individual landowners.
Yes, it really does. It reinforces the protections that were laid out for landowners under the 2013 Land Acquisition Act.
Okay.
And what's really important to understand is this is not just some local Haryana issue.
Right.
This sets a legal precedent that applies to all Indian states.
Wow.
So it's really changing the game for how land acquisition is going to happen across the entire country.
So what's the immediate takeaway for you here? It sounds like landowners now have a lot more power
Absolutely.
in these situations.
This ruling really empowers landowners.
Mm-hmm.
It gives them more legal standing
Right.
to negotiate for fair compensation
Yeah.
and to resist any pressure to just accept low offers.
Mm-hmm.
The 2013 Act already had safeguards in place to try to ensure fairer compensation for land acquisition.
Right.
But this ruling really strengthens those safeguards significantly. So landowners can now much more confidently demand what they believe is just compensation,
Yeah.
and they have stronger legal backing to actually pursue legal action if necessary.
So if you're on the other side of this, like if you're the government or an organization like NHAI
Right.
that's acquiring land for projects, I mean, this must make your job a lot harder.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
It's a much more delicate process now.
Yeah.
Government bodies are going to need to be far more meticulous in how they go about acquiring land.
Mhm.
The risk of legal challenge has gone way up,
Yeah.
and they're going to be facing much higher compensation demands.
Right.
And you have to remember that the 2013 Act already mandates pretty high compensation.
Yeah.
4 times the market rate in rural areas,
Wow.
double the market rate in urban areas.
Okay.
So with this added legal scrutiny on top of that,
Right.
it's likely to make the process even more complex and lengthy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And this could lead to delays in, really crucial infrastructure projects
Yeah.
that impact everyone.
So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the real estate sector,
Oh.
which is obviously fundamentally built on land.
Yeah.
How big of a deal is this for people who are involved in real estate?
It's a very big deal.
Okay.
Higher land compensation means higher costs
Right.
for both government and private builders.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately for anyone looking to buy or rent property,
Yeah.
this is likely going to translate to higher property prices across the board,
Yeah.
whether it's residential, commercial, or infrastructure developments.
That makes sense.
If the government is compensating more generously for land,
Mm-hmm.
that sets a new benchmark.
Right.
That surrounding land values are likely to meet or exceed.
I see.
And of course, that gets passed on to buyers and renters
Yeah.
in the form of higher prices.
So if I'm an investor or just someone planning to buy property, what should I be thinking about given this ruling?
Well, if you're an investor, just be aware that there could be delays in projects that involve land acquisition
Mm-hmm.
due to these potential legal challenges or just prolonged negotiations over compensation.
Okay.
And of course, rising land costs are going to impact project feasibility.
That makes sense.
If you're looking to buy property,
Mm-hmm.
be prepared for potentially higher prices.
Right.
This new compensation standard and legal precedent are going to drive up land values overall,
Yeah.
and that's going to affect the market.
Okay.
Even the faster compulsory acquisition methods
Right.
might face more legal hurdles now.
Wow. So this really changes the game.
It does.
This Haryana decision really highlights the tension
Yeah,
between, the need to develop and the rights of individuals.
absolutely.
And it feels like this is a real turning point based on what I'm seeing.
I think so too.
This ruling really emphasizes that progress can't come at the expense of fairness.
Right.
and just compensation for landowners.
Yeah,
And the implications of that are huge.
they are.
It affects everyone from the individual landowner all the way to, everyday people who are just trying to buy a home.
Exactly.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I keep thinking about how just this single court decision could have ripple effects throughout all of India on all sorts of infrastructure and development projects.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking about as we end here? What's the question that's on your mind?
Well, I'm really wondering how this reinforced legal standing for landowners,
Yeah.
how much is that going to shift project timelines?
hmm
And ultimately, how much is it going to impact the cost of development?
That's a great question for all of us to consider as we watch this all play out.
I think so.
Thanks for breaking this down with me.
Of course, anytime.
It's been a really insightful conversation.
Glad to hear it.
And for everyone listening, make sure to check back for our next deep dive where we'll be exploring another timely and impactful issue.
Sounds good.
Until then, take care.
You too.